Hello everyone, welcome to Prelim 360 session. In the last session, we have discussed about some of the important aspects regarding prelims. The first and foremost thing is we understood how to analyze the previous year papers. We got to know a couple of questions which are already been asked by UPSC by taking previous year questions and understood what is the difference between analyzing the previous year papers and just solving it. And along with that, we understood what are all the important themes which UPSC used to ask each and every year from the last 10 to 11 years. And we got to know about a couple of themes also. And we also understood what to study and what not to study. What are all the areas that we have to focus to a larger extent? What are all the areas that we can intelligently neglect? In today's class, we'll try to understand the prelims through thematization process. The thematization process means like we have divided the whole prelims topics into different themes. It has nothing to do with the subjects, but it has a lot of connection with each and every subject. For example, if I take coal as a theme, coal can be treated as a topic in geography, but it has a lot of dimensions in science also, economy also, polity also. For example, the coal policy comes under polity part. The pollution caused by the coal industries comes under environment subject. And along with that, certain policies taken by the government comes under the polity. The production, the self-sufficiency of the coal comes under the import and exports of the coal. So themes are the recurring topics which has lot of connections between various subjects. You cannot be treated as under one umbrella at all point of time. For example, the parliament is a theme that you can easily categorize under polity, but certain themes like the new types of agriculture or the coal or biofuel, emerging resources cannot be kept under one subject to a larger extent, since it has a lot of connections with the various other subject disciplines. So now we'll try to understand some of the important themes, understand the nature of it. So how exactly themes are, what exactly UPSC used to ask each and every year based on the themes. Themes can be largely classified into static themes and the dynamic themes. Dynamic matlab it may relate it to the current affairs, but it need not to relate it to the current affairs at all point of time. So the themes can be largely classified as static and dynamic themes. First and foremost thing, we'll try to understand some of the important static themes. Parliament, historical background to the constitution, Buddhism, Gandhi and freedom struggle, tribal revolt, revenue and education policies of the British. These are all the static themes. You need not to refer too many resources to understand all these subjects. The Parliament, Lakshmikant book, the chapter, the most important chapter in the Lakshmikant book, you need to understand those important elements regarding the Parliament by analyzing the previous year papers. Historical background to the Constitution. In the 2021 also we got one question on Government of India Act 1935. In 2019 we got one question on Government of India 1919 Act. Likewise, we can expect good number of questions from these particular themes. You need not to refer too many resources to understand these themes. These themes are largely incorporated in your standard books or NCERT itself. So at that point of time, understand those topics very well, analyze the previous year paper and set the core dimensions properly and try to revise them accordingly. So along with the static themes, as I have already mentioned, there are certain dynamic themes also. Coal, genetic engineering, monetary policy and banking, national parks and species, budget and fiscal policy, pollution, important court judgments and fundamental rights. These are very dynamic in nature. National parks, they usually ask questions on certain areas, for example, northeastern India, southern India, Himalayan regions, and along with that they'll try to pick certain questions regarding current affairs also. So these topics are largely evolving in nature. For example, in 2013, 14, 15 we used to get very fundamental questions regarding genetic engineering. So we used to get a lot of questions in 2013, 14, 15 we used to get a lot of questions on basics of genetic engineering or biotechnology. But at presently, we used to get some advanced question from the genetic engineering. For example, RNA virus, mRNA virus, etc. So, for example, 3-parent baby. So, likewise, we need to understand the basics also, the static element of genetic engineering or biotechnology and the dynamic aspects also. For example, national park in 2014 and 15, you used to get the overall nature of the national park. For example, whether it is protected under WPA 1972 Act or not. What are all the exact difference between national park and wildlife sanctuary? Such kind of questions we used to get that are largely static in nature. But now we are getting good number of questions on factual elements itself. For example, they usually give certain national parks and they'll try to identify what kind of forest it belongs to, or they usually ask certain national parks and they will try to identify with the states or rivers. Likewise, we are getting dynamic questions based on the current affairs also and previous year papers also. So such kind of themes are largely categorized dynamic things that where we have to update ourselves accordingly, especially with respect to the current affairs. So what are all the sources for the themes? How exactly we came to know that in each and every year, nearly we get around 30 to 40 questions from the themes itself. So one of the major things that we need to understand is like where exactly we have to learn these topics or themes. What are all the sources for it? The sources are pretty like straightforward in nature. For example, you can cover the themes from NCERT, you can cover the themes from standard books, current affairs or standard website. For example, NCERT. Each and every year, like alternative year, we usually get questions on river. In 2020-21 paper itself, we got 2 questions on Indus, like one question on Indus River and another question on eastern flowing rivers. So such kind of questions can be easily answered by referring the NCERT properly, especially the Indian Geography River chapter. So in 2015 also we got one question on Brahmaputra. In 2015 also we got one question on Vamasadra. Likewise, we usually getting 1 or 2 questions from the rivers that can be easily covered from NCERT itself. For example, if I take standard books like historical background to the constitution, parliament, like basic aspects of monetary policy, banking, that can be easily covered through any standard books. So that is more than enough to cover any theme. And along with that, for example, in fundamental rights aspect, we usually get 1 or 2 questions on fundamental rights, but most of the fundamental rights questions are more or less associated with the current affairs. For example, Puttaswamy case, right to privacy, something like that. We got question on right to privacy in 2021 prelims. Likewise, you connect the static elements with the dynamic elements or current affairs. We have been getting questions on coal right from 2011 itself. In 2011, we got question on the nature of Indian coal, especially the ash content and the sulfur content in the coal. The same question more or less repeated in 2020 prelims itself. But the coal question has many dimensions. For example, if you draw the core dimensions of the coal theme, we may get good number of dimensions. For example, what is the nature of the Indian coal and what is the policy put in place for the Indian coal, for the extraction of Indian coal in India? What is the import and export aspect of coking coal in India? What is the role of coking coal in export and import thing? Likewise, for example, the coal bed methane, it's an emergent resources, and the coal reserves in India. The UPSC had asked question on coal reserves in 2018 prelims. Likewise, we have too many dimensions to understand. So at that point of time, one particular source, or whether it may be NCERT standard book, will not suffice the overall preparation of a particular theme. At that point of time, try to refer a couple of websites, standard website, for example, Arthapedia, Vikaspedia, certain websites like NASA or certain websites like space.com. Likewise, you try to for example, for understanding nanotechnology, there is a website called understandingnanotechnology.com. From those sources, you try to draw the knowledge and try to make sure that you have the knowledge at one place. It's better to make online notes, since we have to search in various websites. So make a short notes out of whatever the things that you have searched so far and put it under one umbrella or one place, whether it may be OneNote or it might be Evernote or Word, whatever it may be the sources or the platform that you are using, so that you can able to revise the things properly. So don't keep on researching on coal for n number of days. Understand the core dimensions from the previous year papers and prepare short notes accordingly and try to revise them here and there. So we got to know what are all the important sources from where themes can be covered. So how to study these themes? How to study these themes? It's a very big thing. For example, if you start to understand the genetic engineering or the biotechnology, you should know where to draw the line. Until and unless we don't know where to draw the line, you will keep on reading genetic engineering. At that point of time, there is no end to it. And along with that, you will not get enough time to revise the things that you have studied so far or concentrating on other themes. So one of the most important part of studying themes is where to draw the line. We'll try to understand what are the questions which have already been asked. Based on that, we'll set certain core dimensions. Core dimensions will help us to draw the line. I have taken one example to understand how to study a particular theme. So if you analyze the previous year papers, we used to get questions on regional organization, especially on international organization. We usually get questions on UN based organization, regional organization and the reports. So if I take regional organization as a theme, if you go through the previous year papers, you will get couple of dimensions on which the UPSC asks questions. The first and foremost dimension is members of any regional organization, whether it may be a SARC, SAO, etc. and whether India is a member of it or not, whether India is a founding member of it or not, what is the stake of India in that organization, for example AAAB. Such kind of questions will be asked. And along with that, what are the overall objective of a particular organization? For example, what is the objective of SEO? What is the objective of ASEAN organization? What is the objective of RCEP? Likewise, we'll try to understand some of the important one or two, not all the objective which has been mentioned in any website or standard source, 2 to 3 important objectives of any organization and 2 to 3 functions of them. And along with that, where was the recent summit was happened and what was the theme of it. So these dimensions you need to understand while studying regional organizations. So if you are able to understand these dimensions, you are well equipped to answer almost all the questions regarding regional organization. We will try to testify this core dimension with the actual UPSC questions itself. See, testifying the core dimensions. So in 2020, we got one question on G20. It talks about the members. In 2019, we got question on AAAB. It also talks about the members. So here it talks about how many members are there, whether the members are only from Asia or whether India is the largest shareholder in this organization. So more or less it is talking about the membership itself. In 2021 G20 question, the question is exclusively on members itself. So likewise, we got too many questions on regional organization. In 2019, we got question on RCEP, the free trade agreement within ASEAN and other countries. So here also we got question on members itself. In Indian Ocean Naval Symposium, we got question in 2017. Here we are talking about the inaugural IONS session and what are the overall objective of it. In 2016, we got question on Trans-Pacific Partnership. Here it talks about the objective of the TPP and also talks about the membership of it. Like in 2016, we got question on GCC, Gulf Cooperation Council. Here, the question is exclusively talking about the members itself. From understanding the previous year paper, what we came to know is there is a boundary to each and every theme or topic. From that boundary itself, the UPSC used to, by using the framework or using the core dimension, under the framework, the UPSC used to ask couple of questions. So likewise, we need to draw the line. Until and unless we don't draw the line, it's very difficult to understand all the regional organizations. Like consider there are around 30 to 40 important regional organizations based on the previous papers itself. So understanding 30 to 40 regional organization cover by cover, line by line, it's not possible. For example, if you open Wikipedia page on BRICS organization itself, there is too much of content. So understanding each and every aspects of it, it would take around 45 minutes for one organization itself. Forget about revising it. So at that point of time, we need to know how to study those important themes. How to study, like we got to know what to study and what not to study, but we need to understand how to study those important topics or themes. At that point of time, you can easily draw the line. Once you draw the line properly, as I've already mentioned, you can acquire the knowledge properly. Once you acquire the knowledge properly, the management of the knowledge and the execution of knowledge will be very easy. Many serious candidates largely stuck in 50-50 in most of the questions. One of the major reasons why they stuck in 50-50 is they are not understood the core dimensions of each and every important topic properly. At that point of time, they feel that they know the question, but they may not able to answer it properly. So that problem, that 50-50 syndrome can be largely addressed through understanding the concept through core dimension methodology. After this analysis, you had come to know how to draw the line and you apply the same theory for the other themes. At that point of time, it will deburden your knowledge acquisition process and you can able to acquire the knowledge properly and logically. Then how many themes are there, especially with respect to UPSC civil prelims, that you have to explore on your own and try to comment in the comment box what are all the themes that you have explored. In the next class, we'll try to understand and list some of the important themes based on previous year paper analysis. After listing the important themes, we'll try to discuss some of the important themes in the next session. So far we understood what to study, what not to study and how to study. So make sure that you apply this logic while you are approaching any subject regarding the prelims, so that you can acquire the knowledge properly and then manage and execute the knowledge properly in the examination hall. Thank you.